Rusty Shackelford here, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry I was out last week and a little time before. I was just in the wilds of Alaska. Met with the Donut King himself in Wasilla and gave us the best way to get up to the Hatcher's Pass, and then went down to the Turnagain Arm and into Girdwood to see 7 glaciers and hike a couple of them. Amazing place. And America is such a beautiful country. There's really no reason to, well, you go wherever you want. But there's plenty here in America to see without even having to go outside your backyard for the most part. Anyway, Rusty Shackelford, Radio Free America. I want to talk about a fella by the name of Sergei Semyonovich Sobyanin. Sergei. So what does Sergei have to do with anything? Well, I'm not sure what Sergei himself has to do with anything except for that there's a common theme, as you'll see as the program unfolds, that Sergei is a lot like Joe Biden. Sergei, by the way, sorry if I didn't mention it, Sergei is the mayor currently still and has been since 2011 or so. You could look it up. 2010, I'm sorry. October 21st of 2010. And he has been the mayor of Moscow since that time. And Sergei, if you're going to be the mayor of Moscow for 20 years, pretty good term, right? Typical senatorial or congressional term at a minimum in the United States. You have to have achieved a certain amount of power, and you have to have become friends with a certain amount of people. Now, in Russia, unless I'm mistaken, that would really mean just one guy, Vladimir Putin. So my guess is that old Sergei Sobyanin and Vladimir Putin, they probably know each other, have probably met at least once. It could be said, and might be speculation, that Sergei was put in Putin to Moscow as mayor for the purposes of old Vladimir to take out and his wishes. Okay, all that being said, why is Sergei Semyonovich Sobyanin interesting? Well, because he did something with his wife that Joe Biden did with his son. He structured a business deal, not in his name, of course. He did it in his wife's name. And Joe Biden structured a business deal, not in his name, of course, but in his son's name. Now, we don't know what that deal is. No way of knowing. The only thing that we know for sure is that Sergei's wife, not himself, he doesn't want to be implicated. He would throw his wife to the wolves, the Siberian wolves, just as Biden would throw his son to the wolves, the Alaskan wolves. In return for more power, more money, more prestige, more ability to run the world, to run roughshod, as it were. Anyway, here's what we know. We know that Hunter S. Biden received $3.5 million from old Sergei's wife. For what? Don't know. You want to talk about Russian collusion? You want to talk about being compromised? We were told in 2016 that Donald Trump could not be trusted because he was compromised by the Russians. We have no idea what kind of information they have on him. He's a Russian asset. He's a Russian insider. He's whatever you want to call him. So Donald Trump is Russia. I mean, he might as well be Putin's lapdog. Meanwhile, what do we find out? We find out that someone that Putin himself installed as mayor of Moscow, the most important city, the most important city in Russia, this guy's mayor of, and his wife handed $3.5 million in a wire to Joe Biden's son. You want to talk about Russia? Ladies and gentlemen, this ought to make you sick. So, I'm gone for 2 weeks or whatever it is, and I knew there was going to be something that would drop sometime in October. I knew when I came home it was going to be something, but this is pretty wild. There's a lot of different stuff going on here, and there's a lot of different ways to dissect it, but I'm going to concentrate on this one thing. Since the Democrats were so successful at hammering home Russian collusion, that's all I want to focus on. I want to focus on Russian collusion. What does it mean that Joe Biden gets 50% of every dollar coming from the mayor of Russia's wife? And who knows God what else? Yeah, we can get into China. Yeah, we can get into Burisma. But I want to focus on Russia. This guy's vice president for 8 years. Before that, he was senator for 35 some odd years. How on earth, how badly have we been compromised? If you remember, there was about 10, 15, by now it's probably 20 years ago, there was a CIA agent who was arrested and was charged with espionage, which hadn't been done since the 1950s. It was the only charge of espionage since the 1950s, and he was accused of giving Russian secrets. And what he would do is he would drop these little hard drives off in mailboxes. And he was like a 40-year veteran of the CIA. And he was unassailable. He was at the top. But they caught him. They caught him doing it. And what do we have here? We have the vice president of the United States not only doing it through his son, but profiting from it in ways that, honestly, we can never know. Unless someone actually investigates this stuff, we'll never know. And I'll guarantee you this. If Donald Trump loses this next election, we'll never know. The deep state will grow deeper by leaps and bounds. It will grow only exponentially. So now word comes out. Now this is all unfolding, and the rats are trying to scramble off of the ship. So now Hunter S. Biden's former business partner, I don't know his name. He's in jail. Two of them are actually one of them in jail. And very interestingly, do you know who there were three partners on this deal? There was Hunter S. Biden. There was John Kerry's stepson. And there was the guy who's in jail right now. Guess who's not in jail? John Kerry's stepson and Hunter S. Biden. Now, John Kerry's stepson, maybe he was smart enough to know, or maybe he had a little bit of moral integrity. Maybe he had a little bit of a moral compass, and he decided he didn't want anything to do with it. He was out. It's enough. I'm not dealing with this. This is getting crazy. Too much. So he dipped, right? But Hunter didn't because he couldn't. Because Hunter's old man was in charge. He was the big guy who got 50% of all the proceeds. The big guy. What kind of a piece of... What kind of a dad must you be to enrich yourself, to indemnify yourself, to hide everything that you're doing through your wife or your kids? What kind of a piece of crap must you be? And yet, that's all what Sergei Semyonovich Sobyanin did with his wife, and that's what Joe Biden did with his son, Hunter Biden. I really actually feel bad for Hunter Biden. Could you imagine the position you're in, where you're the guy who's taking the slings and the arrows, and your dad is good old Uncle Joe, and he can do no wrong. He's just a nice guy. He's a good family man. He lost his wife and his first girl in a car crash. You know that. I'm like, oh, how terrible that must be. And it was. But then to take cameras into the hospital and get sworn in on your wife's deathbed, it might make you question it. That probably should have set everyone up to realize what's going on. Which really brings me to this. And this is just, it's a theory. It's all it is. It's a proposition, and take it or leave it. But could it be that Joe Biden isn't losing it? These are really sophisticated operations that he set up. I mean, and also, where's the RICO Act with all this? Any private citizen in America would be spending 1 hour in sunlight a day for 30 plus years if they did any of this. Meanwhile, this guy's been senator for 40 years and vice president for 8. If that is not the definition of a deep state and make you want to puke, I don't know what is. Anyway, real Russian collusion here, actual Russian collusion. They always accuse you of exactly what it is they're doing. If you ever want to know what they're up to, all you got to do is listen to what they're accusing you of. And here we are, old Sergei Sobyanin. You're not going to hear that name. And you know why you're not going to hear that name? Because it's been covered up, it's been papered over, and if Donald Trump doesn't get reelected, folks, this deep state is going to take over. It's like a California wildfire. There has been enough crap. There has been enough tinder, enough underbrush that has been just adding to the fuel of this whole thing and hasn't been cleared out. And it will just set on fire like the world has never, ever seen. Yeah, we can get to... Actually, I have a lot to go over here. I wasn't meaning to get stuck on old Sergei, but I think it's important to focus like a laser on Russian collusion because this is the linchpin. This is why Donald Trump should be hung, drawn, and quartered, is because of Russian collusion. And Joe Biden, along with Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, orchestrated this whole thing. And they had a lot of people to carry it out. They had their marching orders, either directly or indirectly, but that's the way it works. That's what they did. You got your Comey, you got your Clapper, you got your, and so on and so forth. But those are the three that did it. And they went after Donald Trump, and they tried to destroy his life, and they tried to destroy the life of his family. But here's what really gets me even more than that. They were willing to take down America to do it, to take down our country to do it, to destroy every institution, and these deep staters, this... You know what Donald Trump is up against? He isn't just up against the deep state of America, which is, the resources are never ending. He's up against the entire world. If you ever wondered to yourself, what is Bilderberg? What do they do every year in Zurich or Switzerland where they meet for, 4 or 5 days in secrecy? No one's allowed in. There's no public allowed. There's no cameras allowed. And they do not leak. There are no leaks out of Bilderberg. There's leaks out of the Donald Trump administration. And also notice, there were no leaks out of the Obama administration. Isn't that curious? 0 leaks. Donald Trump is in office for 1 day. There's already 10 leaks. He's in office for 30 days. There's 300 leaks. 0 leaks out of Bilderberg. 0 leaks out of the Obama administration. They hold it down. This is a worldwide operation. It's the WHO, the World Health Organization. It's the World Economic Forum. Donald Trump isn't just up against the deep state of America. He's up against the deep state of the world. He's doing it by himself. He's not getting a whole lot of help from the Republican Party. That's for sure. It's infuriating. But again, Russia. The real Russian collusion is with the Bidens. We'll get to China later. We'll get to Burisma later. But let's focus on Russia. Biden is single-handedly responsible for opening up America. And we can blame Obama. He was the boss. But you want to talk about being compromised, national security risk? What dirt do they... We know they have dirt on Biden. How do they control us now? How does Russia use that dirt? And since we know that Putin is not a dumb guy, and since we know the Russians are very smart and very capable, we know that they're playing chess. And they're not playing checkers. And Joe Biden, he may not be the smartest guy on earth. He's just trying to enrich his family. Make the argument anyone wants to enrich their family. But this guy's a criminal. This is the RICO Act shit. This is a criminal enterprise. Anyway, Rusty Shackelford, I just want to leave on one note here. And it's just a curiosity thing. I have a lot of things to get to. I mean, after that flight, your brain just starts going... What is it about every time a woman is nominated or elected to the Supreme Court, they have to use 3 names? We got Sandra Day O'Connor, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and Amy Coney Barrett. I just want to make things fair I just want judicial equality, and I just want everyone to be the same and equal. So I think that anytime we refer to Clarence Thomas or Kavanaugh or whoever it is, I think we should use their middle name just to keep things equal and even and fair. Anyway, Rusty Shackelford, till next time.